This is going to be the top 10 best classes for teams in Dead Rails. Keep in mind, this tier list is literally only for team play. It's not for solos, and it is not including the other modes. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn that bell on, ring those notifications, and comment below what your favorite class to play in teams is. Let's get right into it. Now, first up is going to be the honorable mention Ironclad. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Ironclad is, like, not that great. I'm going to be real with you. I don't really find Ironclad to be all that good. In team play, there is something you can do with Ironclad that actually makes it useful compared to solo. So if you're in a team with Ironclad, and I know this is going to sound really funny, but I'm being dead serious, you can open your inventory and drop all of your armor to someone that has a better class than you. Now, keep in mind, you will be 90% speed for the entire game, but at least you'll be able to protect the class that is actually good from dying, and they will be able to carry your run with having full armor. So that's the reason why Ironclad's going to be an honorable mention. I just think that, like, it's an alright class. And like I said before, in case you guys were wondering what an honorable mention is, it basically means that the class wasn't good enough to make the tier list, but it was still worth, like, putting in here just so people knew. Alright guys, so coming in 10th place is going to be the Miner class. Now, Miner is going to be ranked fairly low despite, like, it actually being pretty decent, because I feel like all of the other classes in this game are quite frankly just better for team play. I do think Miner is really good to play if you're actually extremely new to the game, because you will be able to mine rocks with the pickaxe. When you're in a team, you'll be able to hit those rocks and kill them a lot faster than you would otherwise. And not only that, but they actually put lanterns in all of the buildings in the game, so you'll be able to actually see inside of the building now without the actual Miner class, which does make the class slightly lower ranked. I do think Miner is fairly underrated, but I do not think it is to play for teams. I definitely think there are significantly better choices than a class that just starts with 2 coal and gets a weapon that mines those rocks quickly. Now, coming to 9th place is going to be the Doctor class. Now, I already know that some people are going to complain about this. You could probably go in the comments below and already see people complaining about the class being ranked this low. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, even though it does have the passive where you're able to revive teammates by using 50% of your HP, quite frankly, like, bandages are extremely cheap. You could even buy one at the beginning of the game, even if you buy 3 coal. It's just, like, not a very good passive, honestly. It can be useful in certain situations, but I don't think it is useful enough to rank the class higher. And also, I'm sure some of the speedrunners are going to complain, because what you could do with Doctor is that you could sell all of your starting items with Doctor, and High Roller can pick up all of the money you put down, and High Roller will end up making a lot of money depending on the amount of Doctors that are actually playing with you. However, I don't think that just because Doctor is used in speedruns means that it should be ranked higher, because the majority of you guys are not speedrunning the game, you're just playing it normally, and for normal gameplay, Doctor really is kind of mid. It does have a really strong start, especially, like I said before, if you pair it with High Roller, you will have an extremely strong start. But you'll basically be playing classless, so take that as you will. Now, coming in 8th place is actually going to be the Alamo. Now, I know some of you guys are going to think Alamo is ranked fairly low, but I'm going to remind you guys that there are those newspapers at the start of the game that you can pick up. They're over there, by the way, and you can pick them up and put them on your train instead of using metal sheets. Now, it is always better to have metal sheets, if I'm being honest with you. Mainly because, like, metal sheets, they cover a bigger area. You don't have to worry about getting shot through the tiny little cracks that the newspapers leave. And, yeah, I definitely think that if you're new to this game, you should probably always have an Alamo in your team, just so you don't have to worry about any of that. It's just a very, like, safe thing to have metal sheets. It also spawns with a helmet, by the way, which will prevent you from getting headshot and instantly die. So that is worth commenting on. That's the reason why Alamo is going to be ranked a little higher than it would be otherwise, even with these newspapers existing. But I'm going to be honest with you, I think Alamo is a very solid class for team play in this game. I definitely think just because it is ranked 8th and not ranked above the other ones means that you just straight up shouldn't play it. But I will say I do think there are better classes than Alamo, considering you could literally just use these newspapers and do the same exact thing that you'd be able to do with the Alamo class, minus the helmet. Alright guys, so coming in 7th place is going to be the Arsonist. Now, depending on how you view this class, this is either going to be ranked high or low. Like I said, just depending on how you actually view this class. But I will say that in team play, this class is actually pretty decent. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched any of my previous tier lists, like the people watching this video. I don't know if you have or not. But if you have, you will know that I usually rank Arsonist fairly low. I usually rank it fairly low because freaking exploding zombie. I usually rank it fairly low just because I definitely feel like in most scenarios, Arsonist is not going to be that great. But if you are playing in a team, keep in mind, I'm specifically saying if you're playing in a team, if you have someone fast, like that is playing Vampire, like if you have someone that's fast that's playing something like Vampire, Horse, or even Cowboy, like it actually works with Cowboy as well, because Cowboy does spawn with the horse, they could just run through the entire town, get all the zombies grouped up in a town, and you'd be able to kill them instantly with a Molotov. But if you're not playing with those classes, the class is fairly useless until you actually find a horse, just because, like, using a Molotov like I did on like 2 or 3 zombies is just definitely not worth it. So you definitely want to wait until you find a horse to actually use this. Alright guys, so coming in 6th place is going to be the Cowboy. Now I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I think that if you're new to this game, always start with Cowboy. I think Cowboy is just a very good starting class, no matter if you're playing solo, in teams, nightmare mode. It doesn't matter. You should probably just take Cowboy. But the reason why Cowboy is going to be ranked kind of low is because I don't think that it doesn't have a passive, obviously, that helps you throughout the entire game, which is obviously getting more and more common as new classes release. Not only that, but I do think the Cowboy it's pretty much only useful for the first 10,000 meters of the game. But I will say, depending on who you play with, Cowboy is extremely good. Like, if you're playing with a Survivalist, give him your revolver and ammo, and the Survivalist will absolutely cook. If you're playing with the Arsonist, your horse will help out a lot. There's, like, a lot of different classes that Cowboy kind of, like, somewhat synergizes with. I don't know if you guys, like, consider that a thing in Dead Rails, but they kind of, like, synergize with those classes pretty well. But I will say that Cowboy does, like, it falls off pretty quickly into the game, and you're pretty much just playing classless after the first 10,000 meters. But the first 10,000 meters are extremely good for Cowboy. Alright guys, so coming in 5th place is going to be High Roller. Now, in case you guys aren't familiar with my tier list, this is actually a really high placement for High Roller, because I definitely don't... dude, all the High Roller mains always get mad at me. It's okay, guys. You're allowed to get mad. Everyone has different opinions. The reason why I'm going to be ranking it higher is because I do think High Roller is a lot better in team play than it is in literally anything else. Not only that, but, like, pretty much, like, it synergizes with some of the other classes that actually sell items. Like, Doctor, it synergizes really well with. And just things like that. And also, with High Roller specifically in team play, something, guys, this is going to sound like a crazy opinion, but I'm being dead honest when I say this. I think playing with other people in this game is harder than playing alone. That's just my opinion, because you, like, when you're playing alone, all of the money goes to you. You're the only person who gets all that money. You can spend it on whatever you need. But when you're playing in a team, everybody needs certain things. And of course, High Roller does actually diminish that quite a lot. So I do think High Roller is pretty decent for teams. But guys, keep this in mind. If you're playing High Roller and there's a lightning storm, do not stand near your teammates because the lightning can kill them. I've had comments where they died from their friend using High Roller. So just keep that in mind before you actually play this class. Alright guys, so coming in 4th place is going to be the Vampire class. Now, the reason why Vampire is going to be ranked at 4th and not higher is because I definitely think Vampire is a significantly better class for solo play than team play. Like, I think Vampire in solo is absolutely massive. Go ahead, comment it. I know someone already did. But it is a massive class for solo. But at team play, I definitely think Vampire really isn't all that great. First of all, you're going to be extremely greedy with a lot of healing items. Just because, like, if you don't have healing items and you're out in the sun and there's no enemies to kill, you will die, obviously. Of course, you always can hold an item towards the sun to block out the sunlight. Like, that is something worth mentioning. But I will say, Vampire is pretty greedy as a class in general. Because you're faster, you're going to be taking all the loot, you're probably going to be taking all the healing supplies. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I definitely think Vampire, this sounds crazy to say, but I think Vampire actually gets slowed down by the other classes. To the point where, like, when you play Vampire, you're pretty much going to be, like, waiting for your team the entire game. So the benefit of having the speed isn't really all that useful, because the main benefit of your speed is that you're literally able to, like, do this, what I'm doing right now. But if you're just waiting for your teammates anyways, it's kind of pointless in all honesty. I also don't think clearing towns is particularly hard with a team, so that benefit is kind of lost. So you're kind of just there. You're going to be waiting around all the time. You're also going to be extremely greedy. I just don't think Vampire is a very good class for team play. I'm sure that you can play it effectively in teams, which is why it's going to be ranked fairly high on this tier list. But I definitely think it does get outclassed by a few classes for team play. Alright guys, so coming in 3rd place is going to be my personal favorite class, the Horse class. Now, Horse has an absolute ton of bugs right now that probably will eventually get fixed. It makes it unusable in solo. You can't drive the train. Solo is terrible with Horse class. just keep that in mind if you're ever wanting to play horse. But in team play, I think horse is genuinely goated. I think horse is insanely good at team play. Not only are you able to control a cart, and before you guys say that you could just ride a horse to control the cart, if a player is controlling the cart, there's a less likely chance that the horse is going to die. So just keep that in mind. Not only that, but you're also able to, like, put barbed wire on the cart, obviously, to kill towns and things like that. You're also able to move a cart around that people can hop on to shoot enemies. Of course, that is also extremely buggy. And you will occasionally fall off the train if you're not secured. I do recommend getting a cart, welding the cart to the train, and staying on the cart because you won't fall off the train then. Horse just has an absolute ton of bugs. The reason why I'm going to be ranking it third is because I think it's very similar to Vampire in all honesty, but you don't get the debuff to Sunlight, so you won't need healing items as much, but you do not have passive regen, so you will have to keep that in mind. You probably will have to use bandages here and there. Now, a lot of people's counter argument to this is that horse isn't fast enough to outrun runner zombies and werewolves, and to that I counter, you run basically the same speed as them, so they're not going to catch up to you as long as you don't stop. I've never been caught by a runner zombie or a werewolf before I could kill them, so I don't really think that's a negative, because you are faster than the exploding zombies. You're faster than a lot of the other things in the game as well, so like the speed of it is fine. It's a very fast class, so it pretty much does what Vampire does without needing the sun debuff. And not only that, but you're also able to carry around carts. People can ride you. It's very buggy, by the way, but you can ride your bros. And obviously, I do think horse is a really good class for team play. I'm sure some people are going to disagree, though. Now, coming to second place is going to be Conductor. Now, I'm not going to talk about this for that long because I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious. Conductor is insanely good for team play because you don't have to worry about not having a weapon because your teammates will kill them. You usually will end up having a weapon by the time your teammates die, or you could just take theirs. I mean, you could just take their weapon if you want to. So, the actual debuff, which is just not having a weapon, is irrelevant. And also, Conductor did get buffed, so it has more max HP now. Like, it has the full max HP, so that's not a thing anymore. And obviously, because the train drives faster, you'll need less fuel throughout your entire run. And the run will also just straight up be a lot faster. So I definitely think that Conductor is an insanely good class for team play. It's extremely straightforward and just really good. Alright guys, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, coming in first place for the absolute classes for teams is going to be Survivalist. Now, I think this one is like fairly obvious. I mean, let's be real here, guys. Because you're playing in a team, you're pretty much always guaranteed to get a gun because of the amount of money people start with. You can always just buy a gun at the start of the game. Getting a gun is never a problem. And obviously, once you have a gun with Survivalist, every single enemy in the game is irrelevant after that. The main issue of Survivalist is always literally just getting that first gun. And in my opinion, after you get that first gun, I literally think the run is instantly won. If you ever die with Survivalist after you already have a gun, you probably did something extremely stupid that caused you to die, and it wasn't because of the class or what you were lacking or anything like that. Like, this class is insane. Genuinely insane. Pretty much never have to worry about ever, like, being ganged on by werewolves or anything like that. It's just, like, there's not really much to say about the class. By the way, in case you guys were wondering, you do get you do get buff damage at max HP. I don't know why people think that you don't get that. But you still get buffed damage at max HP. So you do not have to be damaged. You do not have to be damaged to do more damage. Obviously, getting damaged more makes you do more damage, but you don't actually have to be damaged to do more damage in the first place. Which honestly makes this class absolutely busted. Let's see if I can get through this without dying. That ironclad's gonna be a problem. Oh, it doesn't matter because I do so much damage. Wow. But yeah, guys, that's actually going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, notifications on, and comment below what your favorite class is to use in teams in this game. Hope to see you next one, guys. Peace out.